Illinois beats Duke 45-19, winning the turnover battle by +5. Illinois covers that valuable 3.5-point spread. I was wrong here. This was one of my worst picks, probably my worst pick of week 2. I thought that Duke was going to win. I thought that Duke would show themselves as the better team and that they would beat Illinois. And instead what I got is Illinois winning this game by 26 points, winning the turnover battle by 5, and ultimately controlling this game throughout the second half and also out-coaching Duke. Clearly out-coaching Duke. Before I resume, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bells, and comment your thoughts down below. I love your engagement. Don't just hit the notification bell for my main channel. Hit the bell for any team playlists attached to the video if interested. If your team is not there or you're not interested, please navigate to my home channel page. Check out the playlists tab. Your team will be there if it's a Power 4 team. And hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when I cover that specific team. If you want additional content, bonus content, sign up as a paid member of the channel with the appropriate tier. I also give priority reply to members. And check out our Discord server. It's free. You get to interact with me. I get to pop in there. And the Discord server will notify you when we go live or when I upload videos. If you disagree with me on that standpoint, watch the second half and tell me why Duke didn't decide to change their coverage schemes. Because what Illinois was doing was abusing Duke's man coverage, Manny Diaz's man coverage. They were finally picking up blitzes. They were cutting off wide receivers, covering them very well. And at the end of the day, Illinois had about 13-minute possession advantage, which is pretty crazy. 36 minutes, 12 seconds of possession for Illinois on 73 plays. Duke had 63 plays, 23 minutes, 48 seconds, because Duke, when they did get down the field and score, they did it pretty quickly, and other times they really just fizzled out. Yardage-wise, these teams were pretty equal, and that somewhat surprised me, if I'm being honest. Both teams had over 400 yards of total offense. I thought that both quarterbacks played well. I believe that both of these are, above average, good caliber teams. And look, this was a game decided by the inches. Duke had 438 total yards. Illinois had 419. They both had over 20 first downs. The difference was the 5 turnovers. And the fact that once Illinois started stacking up turnovers, I think it was the 3rd turnover, it became very clear that Illinois had gassed Duke's defense a little bit, and they were going to, pull away and ultimately win this football game. So that was a very fascinating game, very fascinating performance, I will say, from Illinois, winning the turnover battle that decisively and having themselves quite a day. They're now ranked in the top 10. I think they're ranked in the top 10 for the first time since that 2001 or maybe 2007 season. 2001, they went 10-2, won the Big Ten. They actually went 10-1 in the regular season, just lost to Nick Saban's LSU in, I believe it was the Sugar Bowl. And then in 2007, they went 9-4, lost to USC and one of the strong Pete Carroll squads in the Rose Bowl. When you win in that fashion, 45-19, a lot of people overreact. Tons of them do. Now, people are going to say this is me not giving Illinois credit here. And maybe I'm not giving them enough credit. Maybe so. However, I will also say that, again, this was a game decided by the margins, decided by the inches. Duke was not ranked. Illinois is now ranked top 10. Is there really that much difference? Is there really that much difference between these two teams? Really? Because Duke got 4 sacks. Illinois got 2. Neither team was able to run the ball all that well, which wasn't incredibly shocking for Duke, but for someone who might just casually follow Illinois with the reputation of Bielema, that's probably a surprise. Duke failing on a 4th down, Illinois being 100% on a fourth down also had an impact. Like, at the end of the day, Illinois was basically +6 in the turnover battle if you factor in that failed fourth down that Duke had. It's crazy. You can't win games like that. You can't do it. And Illinois was more disciplined. Illinois outcoached Duke. Illinois had the better quarterback than Duke. Their receivers, particularly wide receiver Justin Bowick, I think was a welcome surprise and performed at a very high level, a level that certainly impressed me. My question is, how good is Illinois, truthfully? And also, how does Duke rebound? So with Illinois, they are ranked right now top 10, but they're really power rated just inside the top 20 or top 25, depending on where you look. And I am a skeptic still because Illinois was in the 85th percentile on expected points added per play. That means they had one of the better expected points added per play performances in America so far, like across the year. But they got outgained in terms of the trenches. I thought Duke kind of beat them down pretty hard. But as the game progressed, Illinois outlasted them because of the turnovers. The fact that this game could have went totally differently if Duke just doesn't fumble at an insane, unlikely rate, I think would concern me if I believe Illinois is a top 10 team. Now, Tom Fornelli, Illinois fan, CBS analyst, I love listening to him usually. He said that Illinois' game plan was they knew Mensa put the ball in harm's way, so those turnovers weren't flukes. I disagree with that. Now, the one fumble he had, probably not flukish. The one pick he threw, that was a wonderful, wonderful play by Tanner Heckel, backup nickelback, number 16. Wonderful interception, totally baited him. Those three fumbles, the muffed punt and the strips on the wide receivers, those are not normal. And if they are normal, they're normal for Duke. They're not normal for a football. They're not normal for the average college football team. So I think that Illinois is a titch overvalued here. I'm just going to come out and say that. They are a titch overvalued. Just straight up. Duke, I definitely overvalued them. And I wonder how they're going to rebound. Because, look, I still think Illinois is overvalued by the public, but I also clearly undervalued them. Or maybe not clearly, but in terms of winning this game, I did. Duke, meanwhile, where do they go from here? Because if this is who you are, and you're taking penalties, you're missing some assignments, you are who you are in man coverage, and you lose the turnover battle, well, who on your schedule are you exactly safe from? No one. So I have concerns for both of these teams. It's a little bit opposite of my takeaway, just a little bit opposite of my takeaway from Iowa State and Iowa, where I thought that after that game I was impressed with both teams more than when I entered. In this game, I was more impressed with Illinois than when I entered, less impressed with Duke, but overall, I'm solidly in the camp of both of these teams have their issues. That's for sure. Illinois is more disciplined, though. That's for sure. They won the turnover battle. They were better on third and fourth down. Illinois had more total penalties, but fewer penalty yards, fewer personal fouls, didn't have a dumb face mask call that Duke had. They're the more disciplined team. They deserved to win, straight up. I mean, if these teams were to play a 10-game series neutral field, I'd probably now pick Illinois to win 6 out of 4. 5 out of 5, or 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10. Would lean Illinois there, mostly just because of how disciplined the Illini look. And they do have an experience edge, and I also know, based on Bielema, they are disciplined. Now, something in relationship to both of these teams as well is both of their quarterbacks impressed me. Mensa and Altmaier are studs. They averaged over 9 yards per attempt each layered their throws, looked absolutely beautiful. Altmaier was a stud on the ground. He had positive rushing yards despite taking 4 sacks. Most of those weren't his fault, by the way. His offensive line just kind of caved in to Vincent Anthony Jr. Nearly said Vincent Davis for some reason. Don't know why. Vincent Anthony Jr., Aaron Hall, Kendall Johnson. They were there, man. And they were mean. Honestly, honest to goodness, it kind of reminded me of Diaz's defensive performances against Ohio State, where you're getting pressure, your opponent can't run on you, but in coverage, yeah, good receivers and good QBs are going to get you. That's kind of what this game reminded me of, if I'm being honest. And Altmaier is a good enough QB, very impressive quarterback. I was already high on Altmaier. I think I had him as a preseason top 15, top 20 quarterback, which is better than his 2024 QBR would suggest. And his QBR right now on the season is 11th with an 87. No interceptions, starting the year exactly as he did last year when he didn't turn over the football. Already has over 500 passing yards. And Mensah is a physical specimen, very talented, nearly average 10 yards per attempt. I think as he just gets more adjusted to a speedier, more physical game going from the American, I believe, to the ACC, he'll get better. Now, Duke dominated the lines of scrimmage. Overall, at the end, I think they just won, but early on, they dominated. Illinois should run the ball better than Duke based on the backs they have. Fagan, Valentine, Lowry, Altmaier, I think, is more mobile than Mensah. Duke has Jacquez Moore, who's good, but really outside of him, they don't have the same depth at running back or QB. And Illinois returned more on the offensive line. And yet, Duke, when you look at sack-adjusted yards per attempt, same with Illinois, they averaged both 4. And a lot of those yards from Illinois came later in the game when Duke's defense was just on the field all day. So that plus the 10 TFLs that Duke had and the 4 sacks, look, Duke may have a better defensive front than USC. They might. But I don't think they do. And they certainly don't have a better defensive front overall than Indiana or Ohio State does. They don't. So how are you going to handle those teams if your offensive line looked this way, especially early? And I think that, Diaz is kind of the de facto DC for Duke. Being that and the head coach is very challenging. You're also going to be facing defensive coordinators who are going to be solely focused on their side of the ball and not split. So you're going to have more dedicated to you, against you, and you'll be facing more talented defenses. So that's kind of a concern that I have for Illinois moving forward. For Duke moving forward, it's turnovers, penalties. That's going to be rough, especially since both of these teams won a bunch of close games last year, so regression to the mean says their records will be worse. Illinois, meanwhile, they wrecked Duke's man coverage. Killed it. Diaz's man coverage got cooked in the second half. Whether it was Hank Beatty, whether it was Altmaier keeping it on one of the final runs that he had, whether it was Justin Bowick, Hudson Clement, Colin Dixon, they won. They were finding, whether it was holes in the zone occasionally or running some really impressive routes and just straight up beating Duke's DBs. And look, they have really good defensive backs. I mean, they have Chandler Rivers. Chandler Rivers is a great defensive back for Duke. Great corner. They have Terry Moore. I mean, this is a good Duke defense. It's a good defense. And Illinois was able to outcoach it, out-scheme it, and that was impressive, if I'm being honest. I do have concerns for both of these teams, though. I don't think either at this point is winning 9 games like they did last year. If one is, it's probably going to be Illinois because they won the head-to-head here, but Illinois also has a tougher schedule, in my opinion, than Duke does. Thank you so much for watching College Football with Sam. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bells, and comment your thoughts down below. Again, for the notification bells, Don't just hit the bell for my main channel, hit it for any team playlists attached, or if you're not interested in those teams, navigate to my channel homepage, to the playlists tab. There will be a playlist for your favorite team if it's a Power 4 team. Hit the notification bell for that playlist so you can get notified when I mention them or talk about the conference broadly that they reside in. If you want bonus content, sign up as a paid member. And our Discord server is totally free. You get to interact with me and several other diehard football fans in there. So do those things. Most of them are free. And if you want to go the extra mile, there's always the Patreon page and YouTube memberships.